NFL Network should really be ashamed of itself. They just came out with their top 100 list, and I can't believe how bad it is that they actually had the audacity to make a list that bad and display it to the audience and their fans and say, hey, look at this list and take it seriously. I understand it's a players list, and some players may got each other on their agendas, but that does not give them any right to make a list that bad and actually put it on national television for every football fan to sit there and watch and actually take it seriously. Because this is one of my favorite shows NFL does. I watch it every single year, and it's pretty legit. I've never seen it this bad and this ridiculous. They had Carson Wentz out of the list. They put Josh Allen at number 87. They had Jimmy G at 43. They had Dak Prescott in the top 50. And then it gets even worse, where you go to the top 5, and they put my guy Patrick Mahomes at number 4. Not only was he number 4, they put him as the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL behind Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. I don't even know where to start. This is so bad. For time purposes, I'll just go into the top 5 and then go to Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, because there's no way you could tell me with a straight face or make any legit argument besides your feelings and emotion that Lamar Jackson deserves to be number 1 over Patrick Mahomes. Just because he won the MVP last year, yes, he deserved every bit of it, and I will not take that away from him. Lamar Jackson was the MVP. That does not mean he is the best player in the world and deserves the number 1 top 100 trophy that he just was awarded. Let's look at what they've done the past 2 years, because when you're looking at the best right now, you have to take into account the past 2 years. Obviously, the year before will weigh more than the second year and 2 years ago, but you got to take into account both years. And no matter what way you slice it, whether it's best football player, best quarterback, who was better last year, best haircut, best contract, best car, best being an owner of a baseball team, it doesn't matter where you look at it, Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar Jackson. And let's also not pretend that postseason in any sport, that the postseason does not weigh more than the regular season, because the postseason always will weigh more than the regular season, no matter what your feelings show, no matter what sport you're talking about, postseason over regular season. So last year, Lamar Jackson was the MVP, and he deserved it. He threw for 36 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, killed it on the ground like he always did, and he was a monster. He was a man amongst boys. I will not take anything away from him. But when we get to the playoffs, that was his second year in a row. I understand he's a second-year starter in the NFL, a second-year player in the NFL. That does not mean you get the number 1 award when you lay 2 eggs in 2 postseasons in a row. The Chargers game his rookie year, that was a disaster. I think he threw for under 10 yards through 3 quarters of that game, something ridiculous like that. And then last year, the Titans got down early, and the Ravens could not come back, because when you are down and Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, you can't win a game. He's not built for that. When Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, he thrives under pressure, and he is as clutch as they come in the NFL. And we've seen him last year having a 24-point deficit and then 2 consecutive 10-point deficits. Patrick Mahomes carried the Chiefs and willed them back to 3 straight victories. So Patrick Mahomes' resume in 2018, he had 50 touchdowns, threw for 5,000 yards, was the MVP, made it to the AFC Championship game, and lost due to Dee Ford winding up 6 inches offside. And then we go to the next year, having another great season, throwing for 26 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, getting to the playoffs, and having a historic playoff run that we've never seen in the history of the NFL with a 24-point comeback. He was actually the first player in NFL history to throw for 300 yards in a game, 5 touchdowns, as well as 50 rushing yards in the divisional round against the Texans. Not only that, they scored 41 straight points against the Texans, being down 24-0 in that game. And not only that, they actually took the lead in the second quarter after being down 24-0. Don't know how that's possible, but they got that guy, Patrick Mahomes, who's the consensus best player in the NFL. And we saw that he had another historic game in the AFC Championship game, being down 10 points. They came back to win that game, and the historic Super Bowl comeback with 7:30 left in that game, down 10. Patrick Mahomes already has a Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP in his resume in 2 seasons. That is more than enough to give you the best player in the world title. And Patrick Mahomes has done something, even by the eye test or just watching on YouTube or watching one game. He does things that we have never seen any player could do. If you want to say if you want to say Lamar Jackson deserves to be in the top 5 or top 10 of that list, no doubt about it. You can make the argument he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. No one's going to deny that. No one's going to argue that. But when you're saying Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, there's no debate. Patrick Mahomes is in a class by himself, He will go down as the greatest quarterback in NFL history as long as he keeps up this pace that he is playing at now. And there's nobody who could touch the throne of the best player in the game, and that's Patrick Mahomes.